it's Jen Concannon with Advon Group from TTR Sotheby's International Realty, and I'm here with John Murphy from Washington Workplace. And I mentioned when we first started talking with John that he is very much into philanthropy, and I am curious what, besides having come from a very large family and being ingrained really in your family in that way in charity and philanthropy, what do you have a favorite or a reason that really got you into that specific organization?
Well, there are a couple things at play here. One is the skill set of running a 40-person business translates directly into helping run nonprofits.
Okay.
So I can be and feel like I can move the needle and I can help and be helpful. So the path of my philanthropy is safety net nonprofits. So that would include homelessness, it would include healthcare, that would include food. So those kind of things. There are plenty of worthwhile nonprofits out there. There are arts ones, there are educational ones, but I choose to focus on safety net ones because I really feel that our at-risk population needs the help that I can give them.
That's amazing. And is there anything that you feel like people aren't aware of when they go in to look at an organization? Like, is there something that stands out to you when you're looking at an organization as a whole that people really don't think about when they're just giving, or whether it's their time or their money or their things?
Well, first off, I would encourage everybody to give their time and plug in, figure out what their skill set is and where they can apply that skill set to a nonprofit. Because if you can't, then it's just about writing checks, and I'm not going to discount that, but most people have hidden talents and skills that they can apply directly to helping, in this case, in my case, the at-risk population, or a less fortunate population, whatever you want to call them, of Arlington County.
Something that I've always found fascinating, and thank you so much for sharing that, is that a lot of the folks within Arlington County don't really realize that the people that we can be helping are potentially your people living right next door, and you don't even realize it. And have you found that to be true in some of the organizations that you work with, that sometimes you realize when you're really more deeply ingrained in that organization that you're helping not just the very, very, very at risk, but people that are right on the borderline?
Well, that's sort of the hidden consumer of let's say, AFAC's services, or Arlington Free Clinic services are our neighbors. There are people that cut our hair and clean our houses and perhaps live next door to us. The thing that I've learned, though, mostly is that there are a lot of people in Arlington County. We like to think of ourselves as a progressive, liberal, warm, welcoming community. But there are people who think, well, we shouldn't do that because, with the case of the Arlington Free Clinic, they'll just move here to take advantages of the services. And it's like, no, that's not the way it is. They're here already.
Yeah.
They don't want to support a magnet for people who are at risk. So I find that really offensive, and work every day to sort of enlighten those kind of people. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's like a huge education. And I found, like, right after sequestration happened, it's been years now, but there are still people that are coming out from that as a whole issue. And I remember when we were doing fundraising for AFAC, that they'd mentioned that there were whole lines of people that had never had to utilize the services before, but sequestration at that point in time with the federal government had caused basically like a ripple effect and new challenges to people that they'd basically been on the borderline like for a very long time. And it caused a push into a need that they never expected to have to use. And I greatly respect what you're saying, because I think that there is such a gap in an understanding and an ignorance behind the understanding of the use of a lot of the nonprofits in our community.
These aren't people who are just sitting in their living rooms watching TV. These are people who might work one or two jobs, but just cannot get enough together. When sequestration happened, we saw a huge uptake in the amount of clients that we had at AFAC. I'm currently their board chair and have been on their board for a long time. it's an interesting fact that the number one corollary of our client services delivered at AFAC is the price of gasoline.
Wow.
So when the price of gasoline goes up, and it hasn't been going up lately, but in the past when it went up, these are people who had to choose between buying food or buying gas to get to their jobs.
That's so interesting.
So the price of gasoline goes up, they have less income or disposable income with which to purchase food.
Wow.
Number one corollary.
Wow. It's almost like chicken egg, like which is it? And I think that spins right on over to homelessness. And do you have to have a job to have a house, to have all of those things? It's this huge nutshell. And I know we've gone a little bit long, but this is such a topic that we could talk about for hours. And I really appreciate what you do and sharing this insight. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Glad to do it, and I'm glad to be here.